Okay guys, so I wanted to jump on to the color grading part of the tutorials. And how I'm going to go about it is I'm going to have them in parts. So we're going to start with the basic side of things and then get into the more creative, color look and that side of things. So I'm going to start it off with the software that I use. I use Davinci and this is, I guess, version 18. And I used to use Final Cut Pro. I also use Premiere Pro. The reason I transitioned is because I wanted to have a bit more power in terms of how I can manipulate the colors for my footage. And you have a paid version and a free version. And for this part of the tutorial, you can use the free version. It's more than enough. And actually for many things, it's more than enough. So I wanted to start it off by mentioning one of the difficult aspects that I didn't realize when I was actually editing my log footage is that there's two types of LUTs. There's a conversion LUT and there's a creative LUT. A conversion LUT will convert your log footage into a Rec 709, which is basically like the best, the standard look after you add like contrast and saturation to your footage, but it comes in the form of a LUT. And then you have another LUT, which is a creative LUT, which generally is a mixture of color manipulation and a specific look maybe a creator has made. And in the beginning, I was just adding creative LUTs, not knowing that I had to convert my LUT. Unless you find a LUT that works for your specific footage, a lot of times it's much better to convert it. Then after that, you can manipulate it to look how you want it to look. So I didn't know that, and it took me a long period of time to understand that there's actually conversion LUTs. So in terms of how I shoot, I'm using the Canon R6 Mark II, and I shoot with C-Log 3 Cinema Gamut. This gives me the most dynamic range for my camera, and when I shoot, I get a flat profile like what you see over here with the Coke bottle. This is what comes out of my camera, very flat looking footage, and then I have to work with it. So initially, like what I would do is like I would, decrease some of, I would decrease some of the lift, decrease some of the gamma, maybe increase some of the gain. I would look at my scopes over here and I'll try to, balance things out and get everything to look good, and then maybe increase the saturation, but that doesn't look good. So this was my method before. It doesn't look great. So what you want to do is find a conversion LUT that works for you. You can actually download conversion LUTs according to the camera brand that you have. You just go to their website and then they will have that. In this situation, I had downloaded a conversion LUT from Todd. We'll share his YouTube channel. I had to pay for these, but they're actually quite great. And I would add, let's say here, I was just going to add the native Cinema Gamut Log 3 conversion LUT, and this is how the footage would look. So way better than what I could do with the wheels. So before and then after. And the cool thing about what he had made is that you're able to stop down. So for example, if I wanted to reduce it by 0.33, let's see here, can I get 0.33? I can do that, and it wouldn't affect the color of the footage, just more of the exposure. He did an interesting job. I'll share his video in the description so you can fully understand what he did when he came to creating these conversion LUTs. So that's one way you can go about it. The other way is that you can go onto the brands, let's say Canon, you go to the website and then you download the conversion LUT that's specific to your camera and the profile that you shot it on. It's very important because there's a bit of science behind this, and you might get a different conversion LUT and it makes the footage not look that great. Another way that you can actually do it here on Resolve, which is quite cool, is that they actually have an effect. It's called Color Space Transform. So I'll add that to the node over here. And what you're doing is basically transforming your input color space to match like the Rec 709 timeline. So my timeline at the moment that I'm working with here is Rec 709 Gamma 2.4. This is what you will be able to see on like when you upload a YouTube video. Like this is how the footage looks. So I'm going to convert my footage. So I'm going to key in the color space, which is Canon Cinema Gamut, and then the input gamma is going to be C-Log 3, and then it's done the conversion for me. So we'll have a before and then after. I think what'll be cool is actually to put those edits side by side. So I'll add another node over here, and I will bring in this LUT, and then what I'll do is I'll add a color space transform here, Let me switch it off, the first node, and then I'll apply the conversion in color space transform so we can see a before and after. So this is how it looks with the color space transform, and then this is how it looks with the Conversion Luts that I purchased. I like kind of like the density of color and, you know, the contrast using his Conversion Luts. Let's actually use the native one here. Oh wait, I applied it on the other node. I'll just use the native one. So it was a bit too overexposed, just a little bit. It wasn't overexposed, but I like it when it's a bit darker. So we'll just go back with the minus 0.33. So this is how it looks with that Conversion Lut and color space transform. Not a huge difference. Obviously, you can actually go in there and then just tweak the contrast a little bit and play with your curves. But that's basically the first stage of color grading process. You want to find a Conversion Lut, convert your footage, and then we'll get into the fun part, which is the color grading. I'll give you an example of how like a color grade will look like. So in this situation, this is how I would, you know, grade the scene. But I would actually drop a little bit of the green in the shadows, so I would manipulate that a little bit. I feel like there's a little bit too much green, but the scene was quite green, so I understand the color cast. But I will get deeper into what I do and how I edit my footage in another video, in another part of this series. So this is part one. I hope that was helpful. It took me quite a bit of time to understand that there's a Conversion Lut and a Creative Lut. So I hope this video helps you out. And that's it for me. Let me know what your thoughts are about this first stage of the process. And let me know what software you're using to edit your footage. Thank you for tuning in. I'll catch you on the next part of this series.